if a movie makes me angry, then at least I can talk about it. If a movie makes me fucking hype as shit, I'd say, yeah. I'd say with like most Marvel films and with most Marvel films, I feel like I can just sit back and enjoy. I can have a fun time. Because they're at least somewhat entertaining. Like, what did we watch? Thor last time? I didn't finish it because I was so fucking tired, but...
Julie fell asleep too.
I'm not gonna fall asleep down there.
Like, it's
I don't
not
understand how people can do that.
I do it.
Everybody does it but me, and that's why I'm like, what's wrong with me? I find it really hard to sleep on like couches and stuff. I'm such a picky sleeper.
But yeah, the first Thor is not as bad as people remember. Like,
it's okay. It's funny.
It's a generic like fish out of water story, which is kind of a like goddamn these barrels. It's kind of a really common trope for like a superhero movie.
There are certain subplots I don't really care too much about. I didn't like Thor's friends.
Yeah, but at the same time, Thor in that movie isn't really portrayed as a superhero. Like the beginning 20 minutes of the film really hammers home like the kind of world that they're from, and like it's super Shakespearean. It's not anything like the Asgard of Thor Ragnarok.
We didn't really see a lot of Asgard in Thor Ragnarok.
Well, like the attitude, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'm saying I always thought Thor Ragnarok took that different approach because it took place on Sakaar most of the time.
Well, I thought it took that different approach because it was Taika Waititi.
That too, but like, I thought that's the reason he wanted to get away from Asgard.
Scourge is of that kind of, jokey attitude, and he's from Asgard. Hela has, those jokey lines, and she's from Asgard. It's not, you know what I mean? It's the whole attitude of the film.
Yeah.
Not just...
Okay.
What was I talking about?
You were saying that it was really Shakespearean, and unlike
Ragnarok. Okay, yeah. But then when you get to New Mexico, it's that like early Marvel humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very Iron Man feel.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff is, it's funny.
It's fun.
And honestly,
good.
There's Chris Hemsworth's comedic timing is really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Like my favorite joke in the film is when he like barges into a pet store and he's like, "I need a horse," and there's fun shit in there, and it keeps flipping back and forth between that and the stuff that's going on Asgard with Loki. Loki's like a straight up villain in that movie, like a lot more so than he is in other films, even Avengers, I'd say.
He tries to get his dad killed.
Yeah. He successfully takes the throne, and then he sets up the leader of the Frost Giants to come and kill his dad.
His real dad to kill his adopted dad.
Yeah. And then
it is really Shakespearean, isn't it?
It is. But then as the Frost Giant dude is about to kill Odin, Loki breaks in and kills the Frost Giant dude, so that he appears to be the hero of Asgard. Then Thor breaks in after getting his fucking hammer back and proving that he's worthy. And they have their little pissing contest, and it's actually like a really good fight. Loki's doing like his illusion things with like all the different clones and shit, and Thor's doing his lightning bolts and stuff, and they're fighting on the Bifrost, and then they go to the Rainbow Bridge and like Thor fucking destroys it. And Loki's like, now if you destroy the Rainbow Bridge, you'll never see her again. And Thor's like, I don't care. I have to stop you. And it's melodramatic as fuck. But like, it was cool. It was a good movie.
Yeah. That was Iron Man 2.
Also better than I remembered. Like you remembered, I really hate the Mickey Rourke stuff. But Mickey Rourke is in maybe like 15 minutes of that movie.
Okay.
The bigger villain is Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer. He is darling. I adore that character. Pretty much everything he said made me laugh. The stuff that's going on with Tony and Pepper's relationship, I actually enjoy seeing that relationship. They work really well together. Tony's like making her the CEO of Stark Industries, and at the same time he has this virus that's popping up from the arc reactor in his chest, but there's no known cure for it. So you find out from Nick Fury that there is a cure for it, but it's an element that hasn't been discovered yet. And it's an element that Tony's father had like the algorithm to create. So yeah, Tony goes and finds that whole thing and then creates a new element, which is the cure for his disease. So he makes a new arc reactor, and at the same time as all this is going on, Justin Hammer, who is the like rival competitor to Stark Industries, he kidnaps, well, not really kidnaps, he works out a deal with Mickey Rourke's character, who is this Russian guy whose father got like laid off or something like that by Tony's dad way back when, and he's got a grudge against him now. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's a really good inventor, and Justin Hammer is not. He's just a business guy. So they work out a deal like, Mickey Rourke, you make this robot suit, and then
I'll fund it.
Yeah, I'll fund it. And also, if you could make me a robotic army that can, basically buy me into the military, that would be nice too. So Mickey Rourke's like, okay, I'll do it, but you must get my bird. And Justin Hammer's like, all right, yeah, I'll get your bird. And then later on, Justin Hammer brings in this. He's got Mickey Rourke had like this cockatoo at home. Justin Hammer brings in this cockatoo. Mickey Rourke's like, this is not my book. And Justin Hammer's like, no, this is your bird. Like, I imported from Russia. Like, this is a great bird. This might not be your bird, but this is a great bird. Come on, you're gonna love this bird. And I was like, dude, you could have just went to his house and picked up his fucking bird. Like, what are you doing? Instead, you gotta, like, talk your way through everything. They kept creating situations where Justin Hammer had to shit talk his way out of things, and I was really liking it. But yeah, the first line that Rhodey has after he walks down this aisle where like everybody turns their heads dramatically to look at him, his very first line is something along the lines of, yeah, look, it's me, alright, let's move on, get over it.
That's fantastic.
Oh, and Senator Stern, that asshole, he gets introduced in Iron Man 2. And I love when he's on screen because he's a piece of shit. I love hating him. Tony...
He's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., isn't he?
He is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's also in Winter Soldier.
Oh, I know he's in Winter Soldier.
And Tony has a good argument with him during like a trial or something, whatever it was. Tony was like on trial. The government was trying to, take possession of the Iron Man suit, and Tony's basically like, no, I've privatized world peace. This is all me now. I have this technology, and I'm not really gonna let you guys fuck with it. But what I enjoyed was Tony Stark during that argument made a nod to being Secretary of State at one point in the comics. He said something like, "Make me Secretary of State, and maybe I'll think about it." Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in Iron Man 2. It's definitely still one of the weaker MCU films, but like MCU films honestly are mostly like really good. So even the middle of the road MCU films are still decent action films, at least.
My biggest issue is when a film is boring, and I can't think of...
I wouldn't say Iron Man 2 was boring. It was
it's not
overstuffed.
boring. It's not boring.
Definitely overstuffed. I think that the Mickey Rourke shit should have been taken out, and in favor of that, they should have put in some more character development for Tony's father and that whole arc that they had going on, because it just kind of comes out of nowhere at the beginning of the second act, and then they quickly resolve it. Yeah, that would have been better.
I would say... I feel like Dark World is the most boring.
Absolutely agree with that, because while it's not awful per se, it's longer than Iron Man 2, and there's not nearly as much going on.
It doesn't feel like a lot happens in that movie.
Not a lot happens at all. In Thor: The Dark World, on Earth, Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings, they find a portal to the Dark World where Natalie Portman, she gets infected with
The Dark World.
She gets infected with the Reality Stone, but like as a virus.
That was the Reality Stone?
Yeah, the ether.
Did they say it was... Oh, they called it the ether throughout
Yeah.
the movie? Okay.
And so then the Dark Elves show up, and they're like, yeah, we gotta kidnap her because we want the Reality Stone. And Thor takes her to Asgard to protect her, but then Asgard gets attacked by the Dark Elves, who are like, using futuristic spaceships. And what happens after that? Oh yeah, then they actually, Thor and Loki go to the Dark World, and Loki betrays Thor, as it seems, but it actually turns out that that was all part of Loki and Thor's plan together, and then they defeat the Dark Elves, but then the Dark Elves chase them through the portal to Earth, but the 9 realms are converging in on each other, so they have a really cool, admittedly, fight that where they're like jumping in and out through portals, and they're going in between the 9 realms.
Mm-hmm.
And Thor's hammer's like flying around trying to get to him because he's like jumping through portals and stuff. That's pretty fun, but at this point the movie's almost over. And then they defeat the Dark Elves, and everybody goes home. But like, you see how quickly I wrapped up that movie? Like, that's all that happens in it.
It's fucking long as shit.
Yeah, it's 2 hours. It's a 2-hour movie where I literally talked about like 4 events. Compare that to Iron Man 2. I talked about a lot. That was a lot shorter.
Then, of course, the best sequel, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier is definitely like a huge step up from the first Captain America, which I do thoroughly enjoy. But God, just the direction they went with that, it's like a complete 180. The first one was like a lighthearted, like World War II period piece, and then Winter Soldier just becomes like
Political thriller.
yeah, like a really fucking good political thriller with like amazing action sequences. Like, God, up there with any Bond film.
I always thought it was funny how the Captain America movies had, like, besides the first one. No, the first one did too, just not as much. Just like changing the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole. Like,
yeah,
Winter Soldier did the whole Hydra was in S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole time. Hydra's here. Which set up Age of Ultron and also completely fucking changed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
oh yeah. And then Civil War was like an event movie, almost.
Honestly, it kind of felt like an Avengers film.
Civil War is more... it's definitely... It feels like an Avengers film where Captain America is the protagonist.
Also, the character motivations are better in Civil War than they are in the comics.
Yeah. I agree with that. Everybody is like super melodramatic in the comics, soap opera-y.
But like, and they don't. None of their motivations are like fit with their previous characterizations. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't try to talk it out or anything. They're 100% just.
Well, the comics were just an excuse to get these characters to fight.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige is like, say what you will about the man, most of them should be good things. But like he definitely has, you know, a narrative planned for this universe. And he's done a really good job keeping it tight. There's been some fuck ups with the timeline from like Spider-Man Homecoming.
That was so fucking confusing.
It was. But yeah. The scope of this shit, like they come out with like what, 3 movies a year right now? The fact that they're able to keep all of this stuff consistent like that, like, he's a damn genius.